films are resonating with folks so much because it's not Alex Jones or Matt Drudge or WorldNet Daily warning people 20 years ago. It's now here. Do you think we'll turn the corner, or where does your gut, Kevin Sorbo, tell you we're going?
I don't know. I'm looking to New Zealand. I'm telling you. I mean, it's I lived there for 7 years with Hercules, and it was a pretty nice country. For a socialist country, it's pretty capitalistic. I mean, this country is so large, and we've got such a large population. I mean, here what the Democrats found out early, started back in the 60s, how to get votes. They said, look, we'll promise them free stuff. Well, free stuff, as we know, isn't free. But the people receiving the free stuff view it as being free. So to break them out of that cycle, I mean, how do you stop people? How do you get people who should be working to work when they've gotten so used to just basically laying around? I'm all for helping people who need help. So don't get me wrong. I don't want more hate mail and email. You're going to get those anyway from everybody. But if you're able to work. You know, I didn't grow up with anything. My dad was a public school teacher. I was the fourth of 5 kids. My dad was a Walter Mondale, Hubert Humphrey, Minnesota Democrat, but he instilled hard work into all 5 of his kids, saying, don't expect handouts. Don't expect to be lazy in your life. He cracked the whip. You know, I call his hand soft thunder, you know. When he got mad, boy, he got mad. And he said, you learn to take care of yourself. And that's one thing that I'm passing on to my kids. And unfortunately, half this country doesn't see it that way, and they don't seem to care. So how do we turn that boat? Because I feel like we're past that tipping point. But there comes with public education, but who's controlling public education? Let's dive into everything that the government runs. Post office, the IRS is just a bunch of bullies. You got the public education. None of these things work. Everything is broken that the government puts a hand on. This country was built on individuals. It was always built on individuals. It was built on, you know, the Bill Gates of the world and the Fords of the world and all that. I mean, that's where it came from, and that's where those are the guys who create true wealth and true employment. But unfortunately, I don't understand why the mass media and our government feels they can do a better job, because they don't, and they never have.
Well, again, it's not that this film is going to save the world, or your other films will, or my films will. All of them together will give us a shot at turning this around, and that's why the collectivists, the progressives, the authoritarian left is moving to dominate and take over right now, because they can see politically the writings on the wall. Young people, almost 80% are against abortion. All the polls are flipping actually in the direction of libertarians, in the direction of real Christianity, not establishment Christianity. The trends are there, but the system is in a race to shut us down. And I think it's important to call out Obama. You know, Pat Buchanan, who I've known for many years and who I like, Kevin Sorbo, joining us, folks, if you just tuned in, he says don't impeach Obama, let all this bad stuff get Republicans elected. Well, my issue is you've got to prosecute him, or nobody's scared in government of getting in trouble. I think we become aids to the evil if we don't say no to it.
Oh, I'm in total agreement. And on top of that, I'm a big firm believer in term limits. Why can't we get that? Why can't we, 315 million people, say no more 40-year terms for these Congress people? I don't care on both sides of the political aisle. They get 6 years max. That's it. If a president gets 8 years max, Congress gets 6. That means they get in there, they get their job done, and then we got people like Obama, when something huge happens like this, like yesterday, this crash and this huge border crisis, he's going out just trying to raise money for the Democratic Party. It's pathetic. It's ridiculous. You got to raise tens of millions of dollars for a job that pays 200 grand. So what's going on?
AlongsideNightMovie.com. We'll tweet it out at Real Alex Jones right now. AlongsideNightMovie.com. Another independent film exposing tyranny that you can find out about theaters in your area. And then if people come see the first few theaters and support it, it'll spread all over the world, like God's Not Dead and other films that Kevin Sorbo is involved in. Kevin, we got 45 seconds. Closing comment.
You know, people got to wake up. I mean, the trouble is so many people don't pay attention to what's going on in the world, and they don't care. And we need to do something to wake up that populace. We need to do something to change our public education, because we need people out there to teach kids in schools the way they should be taught, not being brainwashed what our government's doing to them. And go watch Alongside Night, and also God's Not Dead comes out August 5th on DVD, August 5th. Thank you.
We want to have you back on. Thanks for spending time with us.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You bet. There goes Kevin Sorbo. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We're going back into the border crisis, back into the latest with Ukraine and the shot-down airliner, back on the latest on the NSA, and so much more. Straight ahead, your phone calls, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. First-time callers, you're up first. Brian in Georgia, you're on the air on the missing airplane. Well, I don't think it's missing. It's on the ground. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Hey, go ahead.
I was listening to you on the internet. Sorry. Yeah, my thought was, remember that missing plane from Malaysia?
Yes.
I think it kind of ties in. It was weird. My wife and I were driving back from Orlando. We heard it on the news, and we look at each other, and she doesn't like your news like I do. But it was just very ironic that it's a Malaysia airplane once again.
Well, I've got to say that that whole thing was very suspicious and doesn't add up, but we're supposed to not question that or we're bad. We're not supposed to question Obamacare doubling, tripling prices or we're bad. We're not supposed to question that all the taxes in it or we're bad. We're just supposed to do what we're told. That's what a good citizen does, is get screwed over. And yeah, it's the same make and model and the same airline. And then Operation Northwood said they would have one airplane launch with the CIA on board. It would land, have another identical airplane get blown up, and that's how Northwood said they would blame the Russians and the Cubans for shooting down an airline. That's Operation Northwood's ABC News. But when I mention that, they'll have the Boston Globe say I made it up, and then I'm insane, and have Weird Al Yankovic make a joke video like they've done. Because they just think they control reality, and questioning is insane. If I walk out and say the sky is blue, I'm a bad person, unless Obama says it's okay for me to say that. And yes, I agree with you that the whole thing's very weird, and that had 100 attendees heading to Australian AIDS conference. I mean, who knows if any of this is even true? It's all very, very bizarre. But Operation Northwood's called for doing something just like this. And then a little bit more recently, in 2003, it was declassified in 2006, that Bush and Blair wanted to paint up a plane like a UN plane, shoot it down, and blame it on their enemies to start wars. Saddam in that case. So thank you, Brian. Good points. But again, questioning is bad. And so we're going to do it again. I think John from Texas is thinking and looking at things, trying to figure out what's happening. If you watch a mystery movie, that's a thought crime. If you play Clue, it's a thought crime. You do not think or question when people don't know what's going on. You receive what the loving government says. John, you're not about to ask questions here, are you?
I want to ask questions about Vladimir Putin, Alex.
Okay, go ahead.
I see the pictures on the internet that he's in church and he's praying and meeting with church leaders. But let's face it, to get up high in the KGB, you almost have to be a hardcore communist. And I still see the Soviet emblems on all the vehicles. I still see Red Square still named Red Square. When the Russian troops marched through there, they still got red flags. And then there's the Kama River Truck Factory that was financed by David Rockefeller and built by the Ford Motor Company. A truck factory is 36 miles long, capable of
that was used to arm the North. That was used to give trucks to the North Vietnamese for the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
It's capable of building 250,000 military vehicles a year.
I know.
Now, where's all this stuff going? I mean, is this just an illusion to put us to sleep? And like the Soviet defectors said, that came over here in the mid-'80s that warned us that they're going to put this big illusion up, and when we're back return, they're going to smash us with their steel fist, you know?
But it's more sophisticated than that. Our government, the globalists, the John D. Rockefeller, the Rothschilds, on record, put the Bolsheviks in 1917 and aided them the whole time and gave $25 million to Stalin, who was the main henchman of Lenin. And our government declassified in 2004, look it up, that our government put Mao Zedong into power. So, yes, is there big remnants of the Russians and the KGB and all that? Do I trust Putin? No. The point is that I'm going to come back and break this down briefly and then let you get a comment, John. The issue is the globalist took down the czars to put an evil in, used the Soviet Empire to take over parts of the world, then built a police state here to counter it that was also used to take over part of the world. I'm going to explain full spectrum dominance when we come back.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.